We're continuing our exploration with a yin practice to help us feel even more grounded and connected to the earth. So this is great anytime you're feeling like things are overwhelming or your brain's going 30 miles a minute, but just to take stock of where you are and be in this present moment. You do not need any props, but if you have blocks, those are always helpful. Hop on your mat and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to come to start in child's pose. So bringing the knees together here and coming over the legs. If the head doesn't touch the mat, you can put anything here, a pillow, a block, whatever, to make it more comfortable. And hands can either be out straight or alongside the body. It's about finding some ease here. So we're not trying to tax the muscles in any way. So find the most comfortable position. And just checking in with the breath. As you breathe, feel your low back expand. Feel your belly move into your thighs. And release. Noticing how you're feeling, both physically and mentally. Noticing if you have a racing mind or your body feels tired. Maybe you have a lot of energy. Don't criticize, just notice how you're feeling. Notice any temperature, so if you feel hot or cold, maybe your toes are cold. Maybe where you're practicing, it's warm. Just feeling the air on your skin. And then noticing what parts of your body are touching your mat. And what parts have air between you and the mat. Or between you and another part of your body. So are your hands touching your feet? Are they away from the body? Are your heels touching the back of the legs, or is there space there? Again, not being critical of anything, just being aware of where you are in this moment. And set an intention for today's practice. Something like, I am grounded, or I am safe, or I am present in this moment. When you're ready, walk the hands out if they are in towards the body, and then walk the knees wide to come back into wide leg child's pose. And just notice how this feels different than the regular child's pose. Noticing which areas might be touching the mat now and which areas might be elevated. Feeling that connection to the earth. Slowly start to walk the fingers to one side to get a stretch through the side of the body. Breathing into that hip. And then walk the hands to the opposite side. Really anchoring down into the hip
feeling that stretch, sending your breath into the side body. And then come back to center and maybe sink a little deeper, relaxing the heart down. Slowly walk the hands up. You can either keep the legs like this, or maybe they come back in towards each other, or maybe you come to sit differently because this is hurting your knees. It's up to you. But we're bringing the hands out in front of us, turning the fingertips down, so out and down, and then bringing the fingers to the mat. So not forcing anything here in our wrist stretch. You can also come forward or backward to determine how much pressure is on the wrist or how much you bring the hands down. But playing here and noticing, again, which parts are touching the mat and which parts are not. And feeling that energetic space as the heel of the hand is yearning towards the mat. Release the hands. Walk the hands back out again, bringing the legs back so that the knees are directly under the hips. Take the left hand, bring it underneath the right arm. To come into our thread the needle pose. If this feels like there's a lot of pressure on your neck, send your weight back towards your feet. So there should be no discomfort in the neck or head. We're getting a stretch through the shoulder. And maybe you're not touching the mat here. Maybe this is something that you've noticed. There's not a lot of space here. There's quite a bit of tightness. So maybe you're more like this. And we're pressing into the hand, pressing the hips back, and then pressing into the other hand. This is also a great one if you have a blocker or a pillow to put under your head. Good. Release. Now we're bringing the right arm underneath. So right arm comes underneath, sending those hips back. Noticing where your body is touching the mat and where it isn't. Noticing if the shoulder is elevated off the mat. Release. Coming back to all fours, we're going to do a couple cat-cows here. So sending the heart forward and then rounding through the spine. Forward and round. Forward and round. From here, we're going to send the left foot forward, so either carrying it or stepping it through to come to our low lunge. In this position, really relax the hip, allowing you to get a stretch through the psoas muscle. So we're putting more weight into the other leg here to allow that to open up. You might also bring the hands to the side here, either to the mat or to a block, to allow you to come further. So it's okay if the knee comes out over the ankle, as long as it's still over the toes here. So normally we have a lot of structure in this posture. I want you to really allow it to sink down towards the mat. This is a great stretch because we spend so much time sitting and we're not really getting the stretch of the front of the leg here because it's always in flexion. Again, noticing which parts of you are touching the mat and which are not. So notice if your toes are off the mat or if your ankle is off the mat. Not criticizing anything, just noticing. Straighten the leg, walking the hands back to get a runner's stretch here. Maybe the hips come way back, maybe they're up, and the knee is still bent. Wherever you're feeling a stretch in the back of that leg. Breathing here. Good. Come forward. Release the foot. Shake the hips from side to side. And then the right foot comes up. Finding that lunge. And then maybe play with opening it up kind of into lizard and coming down to really open up the psoas. You might also find a little bit of movement from side to side here. Whenever your mind wanders, either draw it back to where your body is touching the mat, your breath, or your intention for today. When you're ready, straighten the leg and walk the hands back, coming back till you feel the stretch. Noticing the difference between the two sides. So here I'm already feeling the stretch more. Breathing here. Come back up and release. Curl the toes under, spread the fingers wide. Now we're coming to down dog, but I want you to keep the knees bent. So significantly bent. So we're not pushing up to a full down dog. We're just relaxing here, allowing the low back to release, allowing the spine to be long. And then walk the hands back so we're in a forward fold here. Breathing into the posture. So here I still have my knees bent, but you could straighten them if you want to get more of a stretch through the back of the legs. With the knees bent, you're getting more of a release in the low back. from here, heel toe the feet out wide, and then send the tailbone down to come into a squat. So maybe we're here. Don't worry about getting all the way down to the mat, just wherever you are in your squat. So we're coming into a squat, wherever you are today. Bring the palms together. So again, here, we're starting to send the tailbone down. Don't worry about the heels touching the mat. Again, just noticing where there's space between you and the ground. This is also a good habit to get into if you have props around you, either blocks or pillows, blankets, because wherever there's space, you can always put something. So if I had a blanket, I could roll it up and put it underneath my feet here, because there's a space between my heels and the mat. Props help us to move deeper and also be more stable, because they bring the ground to us. Good. Bring your hands behind you if you're down and just come to sit that way. If you're up, bring the feet in towards each other and come to sit down. Send both legs out, just to wherever is comfortable for you. And actively draw the toes towards your face. So we're flexing the feet. Hands just rest in front of us. Noticing as you sit here, what's touching the mat. I know I keep saying that, but be really mindful of it. So for here, most of my thigh is touching the mat, but then there's a space here underneath my knee before it gets down to my calves. So noticing where those spaces are. And really relax into the places that are touching the mat. It's not good or bad that things are not touching the mat. It's just being aware of holding that space for us. Inhale, the arms come up. Exhale, turn towards one leg. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, turn the other direction. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, the left hand comes down. Right arm reaches towards the sky. Maybe you work to bring the forearm down to the mat or down to your leg, but keeping the space in the side body here. So noticing where you need the hand to be to keep that length. So imagine you're growing out of your sits bones, reaching towards the sky. Good. Release. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, right hand comes down. Left arm reaches towards the sky and over. Again, playing with where the arm is. Noticing how this side might be different. release. Inhale, get nice and tall. Exhale, walk the hands forward, but we're keeping the back straight. So you might be hinging at the hips, or you might just be completely up straight, but starting to walk forward. You'll start to feel it inside the legs as well as in the low back. Stop when you start to feel sensation. Dip the chin in towards the chest. Feel this structure, feel the steadiness of your hands on the mat, of your sits bones and legs on the mat. Inhale, get tall, and then exhale, allow your spine to round. So not trying to get anywhere in particular, just allowing your body to relax over. Good. Walk the hands up. Bring one foot to meet the other, so we're coming to lie on our backs. Bring the feet to the mat, knees are bent. Heel toe the feet out and allow the knees to fall in towards each other. Bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Again, noticing where we're touching the mat and where we're not. If the low back has space underneath it, use the hands to scoot the tailbone towards the feet, and you should feel it come to be flat on the mat. So we want it flat on the mat to relax it here. As we allow our knees to come in. And release that tension. Inhale in, and as you inhale, feel yourself expand both up towards the sky, but also deeper into the mat, feeling it supporting your low back. And exhale, release. Inhale, expand. And exhale, release. Inhale, expand. And exhale, release. Walking the left heel in towards center. Allow the knees to windshield wiper back and forth as we move them down the mat to bring the legs out long. Snuggle the shoulder blades underneath the heart center. Allow the hands to open up towards the sky. Feet fall to the side. And eyes closed as we come into Shavasana. Maybe playing with that same breath, where we feel ourselves sinking deeper into the mat. Or maybe visualizing with me our connection to the ground. And as we exhale, we sink deeper into the earth, maybe into mud, but just allowing the body to relax. As if it was melting in to the mat. If the mind starts to wander, draw it back to the breath or back to the visualization. Slowly start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Doing little circles with the wrists and ankles. Allowing the head to rock gently from side to side. Before bending the knees and coming to lay on one side. Breathing here. And pushing yourself up to a comfortable seat. Bringing your intention back to mind. Bring the palms together at heart center, really pressing the palms into each other, feeling that same grounded feeling that you do with your connection to the mat. Knowing that you can bring it with you off the mat. This feeling of support. Thank you for taking this time for yourself, and thank you for taking this time with me. Namaste.
If you would like to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments. Also, you might enjoy the videos in this playlist here. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribers allow me to continue to make these videos. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.